Hey everybody, welcome to Between the Laughs with Carlos Mencia. I am here with Gabriel Lopez. Why am I saying it like that? Gabriel Lopez. They used to do that back in the day, by the way. I don't think they do it as prominently anymore.
No.
But in the 90s, especially like
on the news.
Yeah. That's where it has.
Yeah.
It's perfect English, right?
And it was always the weather. Today in El Salvador, it's hurricane-like winds.
Right. Who used to do a joke about that? The Yo Quiero Taco Bell guy. The Latino guy that did Yo Quiero Taco Bell.
Oh.
Remember him?
Wasn't he the guy from Reno 911?
Yeah.
The Carlos Mes.
Carlos Rocky.
There you go.
Boom. Carlos. Yeah. Carlos used to do a bit like that. Where he's like that. I think they were the only, that Latinos are the only ones that do that.
Yeah.
That, somebody goes, and this is Kylie McNeil calling for the turn. Like, he was like, you know what I mean? He did this great bit too, by the way. He used to do this great bit about why does the devil always have a British accent?
Why?
No.
Oh.
He was asking,
Yeah.
like, that always has a British accent. Oh, I'm the devil and I'm here too. Like, it's never like, hey there, I'm the devil. Like, I'm here, I'm the devil. Like, anyway, the reason I did it is because the world didn't end. America is still the greatest country in the world. People are still clamoring to be here, and nobody wants to leave. And Bad Bunny singing in Spanish didn't really destroy the fabric of America as everybody thought it was going to happen.
Oh, as people are saying, as these horrible news people are saying.
Well, look, I'm not going to name names like that, right? So there was some celebrity, and I kind of understood where he came from, except. And so somebody said, look, I don't know why everybody's getting into it, like, especially the side of the people that like Bad Bunny. What he said basically was, hey, man, if other people don't like Bad Bunny, let them not like Bad Bunny. But that's not what it is. I've been around for a long time. And yes, every time they pick a Super Bowl person, there's always going to be people that are like, oh, really? You're going to put her in there? You're going to put them in there? There's always that. The difference is that it was never to the point where, you know what? We have to have our version of it.
Yes.
Right? We have to have our white version of it.
Yeah.
It was just, why is Prince doing the Super Bowl? It doesn't make any sense. He's not a guy that, like that was always there, right? But not to the point where, who was it? So, there was somebody that actually said it's not white enough. What the fuck? That's the shit. That right there is way different.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Absolutely. But people also forget why the Super Bowl started doing these major spectacle, big-time headliner halftime shows. It was because of a little show called In Living Color. And they did an experiment when they were running that, hey, let's do a show and air it during halftime of the Super Bowl. And it got insane ratings because before it was just the marching bands from different colleges and stuff. It wasn't a major spectacle, but because of the ratings of In Living Color, it created it's like we need to compete with Fox, because remember Fox when Fox in the beginning, they tried everything. That's where The Simpsons and Married with Children and In Living Color and all this stuff that wouldn't normally get past traditional CBS, NBC.
Parker
ABC.
Lewis can't lose.
Exactly.
Oh my God,
so
bro.
stuff like that. But it was because of that halftime show
Right.
that the Super Bowl took. Okay, maybe we need to step up our game, and they got Michael Jackson. And then they got Prince, and then they got names of that caliber to do the halftime show to keep you watching, because that was a half hour of essentially dead air.
So that's where it started.
Because of somebody wanted, hey, while it's halftime, it's going to be boring. Watch our episode of In Living Color.
Right. But I guess you know what I was thinking about this? What is it, right? What is it about what's happening in America today, right? And I think that what I'm viewing is, when somebody says it's not white enough, my reply is, well, up until about 20 to 40 years ago, everything was fucking white.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Like, and I'll say this, I hope it's changed. I haven't talked to anybody in the stratosphere of networks for just couple years. Not a lot, but a couple years. But I have heard, literally have heard, to my face, executives at one of the major networks, actually more than one of the major networks, look at me in the face and say, maybe next year, we already have our Latino project. Not projects, project.
Or one.
I venture to say that in my lifetime, no white entertainer, no white comedian ever heard that. I don't think anybody that's white ever heard.
We got all our white projects.
All our white is good enough. I'm saying, you think they ever heard, oh no, we have our white show.
Yeah.
You know that one show with the white guy?
Yeah.
That's it. That we don't need anymore. Tim Allen is all we have here at ABC. We don't need any more white. That's not the way it goes. Oh, let's put them in Roseanne. And so, so for me personally, look, we talked about this before, but I'll reiterate for those of you that haven't seen some of the other podcasts. When I grew up, and you know this, we know a lot of people whose parents speak Spanish, but they don't. And it's not because of laziness or anything like that. It's because their parents literally prepared them for what's happening right now at this very moment in America, where if ICE goes up to one of those kids or one of those people that grew up and says, ¿Qué estás haciendo aquí? They're going to look at them and go, I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish, bro. So they were preparing them for this moment. But it was also looked down upon. You know what I mean? And in the opposite, let me be real. It was the opposite where I grew up in the hood. I remember getting good grades. Shit, you were doing it to me right now on the way here in the car. Facetiously, but you were doing it to me in the car. But reiterate, I grew up in a place where it was like, hey, bro, why you fucking getting good grades and shit in English, bro? Why you trying to be fucking white, eh? Why you trying to fucking talk like white people and shit, bro? And for me, it was never about white. For me, it was about, if I want to write a book, it can't fucking start off with, so check this out, Holmes. Like, I don't think that book is gonna rival Once Upon a Time. You know what I'm saying? I just, for me, it was just rules. Simple. Give me the rules. That was my dad. What are the rules? Tell me the rules to this game, and I will achieve within that. Tell me what it is.
Yeah.
That was same for me. But I'll be honest with you, bro. I got accused of being white when I was a kid so much because of my good grades in English.
Same.
I started lying to my friends about my grades in English so that they wouldn't give me shit. But we were laughing because I swear to God on the way here, I said something about the dichotomy of this, and he goes, write that down, dichotomy. And it's just, they're shitting on me for fucking using these words.
No, but to add to that, because I'm glad you brought that point up, and just because we pay attention to people, that's our job. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say dumb. Unintelligent people try to hide that they're not intelligent, while smart people admit, okay, dichotomy. Right. I don't know what that word means. I want to know what that word means now. Right. Yeah, but I mean, we're fucking around and talking shit, right. But in my head, like, I really do want to know what the term dichotomy means.
Right. But so going back to it, why are these people that hurt about this? And I thought about it, and I went, oh, I think so. In my dreams last night, I was having a conversation, and the conversation led to this one simple question. I think it revolves around this thing. What do you think America is? And I think that your definition of what America is what defines how you're feeling right now about ICE and about Bad Bunny and about the introduction of all this ethnicity stuff. And it's not white enough, so we have to have our different one. I believe that that's it. So I wanted to know, what is America to you? Like, what is the foundation of it? Not the foundation, but like America is mixed, it's white, it's black, it's like, what is it to you personally?
Well, to use the Super Bowl as a base,
right?
Two different directions. One, like if it was really not white enough. Let's be honest of what white means. White means European. It doesn't mean mayonnaise. It doesn't mean ketchup. It doesn't mean hot dogs and burgers. It means European. So if there was a German act or a French act, an Italian act, would that appease you as being white enough?
Here's what would happen. I believe that if it was of a European, like if we brought some German band, right, to sing 99 days, but whatever, what they would say is, well, it's not American enough. To Latinos and to ethnicities in this country, it's not white enough.
Yeah.
To white Europeans, it's not American enough. You put those together, and what they're really saying, America is white.
Yeah. But if like Rammstein did the halftime show, I don't understand a single word that they're saying. I love that band.
Right.
I love that band.
Right. Oh, they did. Remember the one guy came to karaoke and saying that? And we were just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is a good beat. I like it.
Yeah. So expand a little bit on more. What do you think America is?
And the other side would be just the math and the numbers. This wasn't. First of all, kudos to the NFL or Apple, whoever actually made, because they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish.
100%.
We were talking about Bad Bunny a month before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was a thing. They created the buzz that they needed to create.
Right.
So kudos to them. But also, if you take a look at the math on why they picked Bad Bunny, 20% of this country's population, ages 18 to 35, are of Latin or have some sort of Latin descent.
Correct.
So they're just looking at the sheer numbers.
Right.
And that 20% isn't going to be 10% next year. It's only growing.
Yeah.
Because they're not might be pure Puerto Rican, pure Mexican, pure Colombian, Dominican. Now there's a lot of halfers born.
Of course.
That still have some.
Yeah.
I have a goddaughter that's half Mexican and half Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. And she's 100% both.
Right.
She understands both just perfectly.
Right.
And she's a doctor.
Right.
I couldn't be more proud. She's a fucking doctor.
It's amazing. So here's how I view America. I think that there are two groups of people in this country, just two, that you just pretty much can't shit on with regards to them being here, and So I look at, we took this land from the Native Americans. This was their land. We took it. I don't understand people because I was doing a podcast the other day and I go, well, let's be real. We took this land from somebody else, and somebody goes, "You're being facetious, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he goes, "Yeah, but that was a long time ago." I said, "So
that doesn't mean it didn't happen."
But here's what I said. I go, "So if your grandmother, if my grandfather raped your great grandmother, after how many decades can we go? It never happened, or I'll just ignore it, or who cares?" Would that be okay? He's like, come on, no. Look, why can't we accept that that's what we did?
Yeah. The Holocaust didn't happen? Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly.
They don't teach it in Germany.
Right. We not only did we take this land, but I'm serious. Watch this documentary, the Lakota tribe versus USA, and I'm telling you, bro, it is disgusting how we sign a treaty with them, saying this land is yours, we can't touch it. 2 days later, we discovered elements that are very,
valuable.
All of a sudden, well, we didn't say all the land. We meant you could have this corner and this corner and this corner, and guess what part they didn't get? The one with all the gold and the blah, 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 blah. I mean, we've fucked these people over and by the way, if everybody where I live in California were to say, you know what, you're right, Carlos. Let me put it to you this way. I would give all the property that I own back to Native Americans as long as I'm not the only one.
Ooh.
If they said to me today, all right, well, you give it back. Yeah. But only if you give it back. I'm not going to be the fucking only one representing myself here. But if everybody in this country, or in California, at least where I live, says, yeah, you know what, this is our land, let's give it back, I would give it back. Because here's the thing. Native Americans don't look at it like that. Native Americans are like, how the fuck can you own land?
Yeah.
To explain to me how you can own some shit that when you die, they bury you in it. How the fuck is that yours?
Yeah.
This is Mother Earth's. If we poison the water, and you know who's gonna die? We are. And in 100, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years, 100,000 years, it'll all come back, start over again, and then whatever the fuck evolves from whatever was left, there's gonna be some intelligent life that's gonna start all over again. You know, we're not gonna ruin the planet. We can fuck it up to the point where we die, but it's not in our lifetime, bro. Yeah. It can take even millions of years based on how old and billions of stars and all this. So them on the one hand. And I mean, dude, when I was watching this documentary, bro, at one point they wanted to teach the Native Americans basically like, look, you guys are Indians, you guys don't know, so let's teach you some skills so you can get jobs. You guys have to go to these schools, boarding schools. Well, guess what happened at the boarding schools? You can't dress like a native. You have to dress like a white Anglo-Saxon European with the jeans and the pants and the shirt and the collars. You can't speak your native tongue. You have to, I mean, it wasn't even a boarding school. It was a fucking indoctrination. Yeah. What we've done to these people should never be forgotten. And it should never be dismissed just because, well, you know, it was 500 years ago. It doesn't matter. What was done should always be seen from that point. Second group of people. And this one literally just bothers me sometimes. If you don't like white people, I mean black people, why the fuck did you bring them here? Why the fuck did you introduce them into this country and then later on, like, go back? You brought them. Yeah. This was you. And by the way, in my opinion, no, fuck that. I know this is a fact, even though it's an opinion. The most American people in the United States of America are black people. And here's why. It's what you said earlier. Puerto Rican, Mexican, they speak Spanish. Si yo te hablo así, tú sabes. We're going to go have some tacos. Why? A lot of the heritage we still have. We still have shit. I still have shit from Honduras. Yeah. You still have shit from Mexico. Yeah. He still has shit from. She still has shit from. Right? Wherever you come from, even white people, right? The Salisbury steak or whatever, there's some European shit in there. Black people, everything that they are today was given to them culturally by America. We took them away from their land. They didn't have that. We took them away from their customs. They didn't have that. We took them away from their languages. They don't have that. We replaced it with everything American. So if you want to look at the most American people today, it's black people. Who else could it be?
Yeah, it's an excellent point.
They are everything that they are.
Yeah, because the Europeans came here with their culture, their religions, with everything,
and they still have it. Yeah. And they still have it, right? There are still. You know what it is? It's like when I'll give you an example. Thanksgiving is a good time, right, to see that, because when you go, I don't know about you, but when I go to friends' houses for Thanksgiving, that's when I know what the other part is, right? Everybody always has the turkey. Yeah. Everybody always has the fixings, right? The main. But then all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck is in that pot over there? What's that shit over there? Oh, tamales. Okay. What kind of tamales are they? Oh, they're the big ones. Central America. They're the little ones. Mexico. With my wife, it was purple cabbage.
What the fuck is that?
I fucking love it. It's incredible, bro.
Purple cabbage.
Oh, dude.
What kind of white corn-fed shit is that?
Oh, dude, not corn-fed. That shit is Europe. That's German, like a motherfucker. It's almost like a sauerkrauty kind of thing, but it's not. It's sweet. And anyway, I love that shit. But my point is that you go there and you see those little things. Black Americans, you go to theirs and it's all American food. There's no, nobody the ghost of black people past doesn't come out and goes, listen to me, you do not know this, but they brought you here from a place where we used to have this food called bangda kuka, and this is it right here. Like, there's none of that. Yeah. I remember I used to do a joke, and I go, listen, black people should never be called African Americans. They should be called Americans. I said, you want to call me a Mexican American? That's cool.
Understood.
Because when I go to Mexico, and they go, pues oye, güey, ¿qué pasó? I can look at them and go, ¿qué chingas estás hablando? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? I get that. I go, you send a regular black American to the middle of Zimbabwe, he gets off the plane, and they go, let me remember how I phrased it. Oh, and they go, Chumdambambubule. and it was like, he's going to be like, nah, motherfucker, I don't speak that shit. So those two groups, to me, are almost untouchable. Almost untouchable. And even when people go, well, how long is it going to take, black people to get on and stop being victims of themselves and all this kind of stuff? Okay, that's cool. If we were to take one family right now of a child that's white and belittle and berate him and tell this kid that you ain't shit and treat him over and over again like that, how many generations do you think it would take that family to recover? Especially when it's not over. Especially when I can put up my phone right now and just go, racist shit that has happened in this country, it's still occurring. We're still being racist against these people. We're still, so those two. But the rest of it, all the rest of us, we come from somewhere else, man. We're lucky and privileged to be here. We're lucky that we get to live in this existence. Because let's be real, would I be successful if I had stayed in Honduras or gone to live in Mexico with my mom's family? Yes. At something. I mean, I don't have that kind of personality where I would be. You
would succeed in whatever
something.
You decide. Yeah.
But that being said, I wouldn't have this life. Not the way I have it now.
Yeah.
Not the way we exist in it now. All of us came from somewhere else. And to me, America isn't white. It isn't black. It's all of it. Because if you even in the reggaeton, how much of that came from Africa? How much of that came from the hip hop community that came from America? Do you know what I'm saying? Like how much of that devolves into it? We don't know, but I think that a lot of people other than those two started kind of grasping it like this is our country. And it's like, no. America was never, I mean, I know that you had your manifest destiny. I get it. I get that you thought, or back in the days you thought, hey, this is our thing. This is our country.
Yeah.
Number one, you invaded a country that already had Native Americans and Mexicans. And then you brought the Africans. So you're the one that already came to a place that had others. Then you brought others. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Chinese, Irish.
And they all just started coming in. But when, like you say that, look, think about this. You guys don't know this, but, well, maybe you do. One of the biggest things for us is on the way here, we start asking, where are we going to eat? That's our thing.
Yeah.
What are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? And we literally go through, well, do we want Japanese? Well, he's not really big into sushi, so that part of Japan we can't.
We had Mexican last week.
Right, we had Mexican last week. Oh, Chinese, we go to Ping
Oh,
Pang.
that sounds
there you
good.
go. So, right, to me, that's what I love about this country. I love the fact that you look at the faces in the Winter Olympics, by the way, the non-black ethnic Summer Olympics, and you look at those faces, and they're not a bunch of white people, bro. Mm. It's a bunch of ethnicities. It's a bunch of colors. It's a bunch of races putting together, doing it for America. And, of course, a lot of them are getting shit, and you athletes are just supposed to be athletes. No, athletes are human beings, and these human beings happen to be American citizens. And one of the greatest things about America is that we don't get put in jail for saying our president sucks, or this sucks about our country, or I don't like that this is happening. The beauty of America is that we have self-reflection, that we can do this. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So that to me is what America is. We are better when we come together. I think the vast majority of brand new Fortune 500 companies, CEOs, are either women, immigrants, or first-generation Americans, children of immigrants. And the majority of them went to a state school, not an Ivy League school. That, to me, typifies what this country is about, is about coming here and having a dream. I mean, think about somebody that lived in Vietnam. I don't know, after the war, came here, just trying, and somehow ended up in a nail salon. And how successful that person is. And maybe they're not billionaires. Maybe they're not. But they went from that system to coming here and having a house, being able to send their kids to college. That to me is what this dream is all about. And I don't see, like I said last night, I go, back in the day when Prince came out, there were a lot of people that were like, Prince doesn't even like football. Why is he doing the halftime show? But nobody proposed we're going to have Huey Lewis in the news over here doing our white version of this.
Yeah.
Or, Bon Jovi's going to live on a prayer over here while this. No, it was like, but we just don't like it. This whole like trying to divide. And here it's a losing cause because of what you're saying. The beauty of this country is that our kids don't follow our bullshit, and they end up coming home with a shitload. Dude, so my nephew, Christopher, bro, the array and variety of women that he brings over the house when he's dating them is incredible, bro. Amazing. One day it'll be a girl, he's Chinese. The next one it'll be like, she's Korean. The next one's like, this one's Egyptian. Like, they're all Americans, but of those descents.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that that's the best. I think that that's what makes this country great, that we bring in these cultures and then we take a little bit from this, and all of a sudden, that became America. How the fuck did French fries? Let me repeat that. How the fuck did French fries become an American food? The word French is in it. And yet you go to France and they're like, oh, you mean American fries? We're like, holy shit, you gave up on this fight.
Oh, when we had the trend of calling them freedom fries, remember? Because I don't remember what the problem was with France, but businesses around the country were changing the name from French fries to freedom fries.
Well, they tried.
And it was horrible. But I can add to this because right now, while we're filming this, the Winter Olympics are on. Mm-hmm. And there was something I saw, and it was on the screen, and I wish I saved it because it was just so beautiful in what it represented. So they were showing through three girls. Uh-huh. They were snowboarders. They're on screen at the same time. Uh-huh. One was representing Korea. Uh-huh. One was representing Japan. Uh-huh. The other one was representing the United States. Uh-huh. All three of them were Asian.
Right.
And that's just to see the U.S. as an Asian with other. She looked very similar to these other women.
Right.
But U.S., right. Korea,
yeah.
Japan. I'm like, fuck, this is beautiful.
Yeah. That's the great thing about this country.
Because we got the best of the best, and they're acting like we're just the shit of the shit. But right. It's just a manipulation. It's a used car sales. We're the best country, and not to say other countries don't suck, because okay, we're free. Most countries are free. This is not a benefit exclusive to the U.S.
Not like that. What is exclusive, pretty much, is that you can say anything about the government here without repercussion.
No, the current administration will sue you. Well, they're gonna sue.
Well, they can do that, and that's fine. We'll get over this. Look, I believe. Look, it's what I talk about. This started the day Obama became president. And the day Obama became president was the day that part of us were happy and like, look, we're finally a country that has racist people, not a racist country, right? We got a black president. Without the white vote, without the blah, blah, blah vote, couldn't have made it. So this says something. But I think that at that point, a lot of, and it's sad to say because it hurts me to say this because I have so many friends that are not like this, but it seems to me that the majority of people who wanted to watch the alternative show were white. Not Latinos that I know of. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there were some here and there. Yeah. Like the guy, the Proud Boys leader who happens to be a Latino, that happens in there. But the majority of it, it's just a bunch of white people that are scared but what are we taking from them? That's, again, I go back to, what do you think America is? Because as kind of like an experiment, what do you think would happen if we were to say, okay, all the ethnicities are going to leave from this country, but with us, goes all our food, our traditions, and everything else. And you cannot. So if you kick Mexicans out, that's cool. You cannot have Mexican restaurants. And you cannot have tacos. You cannot have tamales. You cannot have any of that stuff. They're all gone.
Well, if you're removing the Mexicans, you're removing a lot of the Italian restaurants, a lot of the Chinese restaurants, because they do so much.
Right. We're gonna get rid of the Mexicans. All the Chinese, but like about 80% of Chinese restaurants are like, oh, this is bullshit. Like, they took my work. Yeah. So I when I see America, I see it as this country of people that live somewhere else and wanted more. Right? Like Scandinavian countries, right? Where you pay about 80% in taxes, 70 to 80% in taxes, but everything is paid for. What they don't have is growth. Middle class, what America has more than anybody else is, I was poor, I'm a millionaire. Poor to millionaire, unrivaled. Not even close.
Yeah.
Like no other country comes even remotely close to that shit. This country has that more than any other country. And so it attracts a lot of people, that want to. I mean, think about this, bro. The most iconic Mexican of our generation, right? His name is Vicente Fernandez. That dude represented Mexico in every way, shape, and form, through the way he dressed, through the way he talked, through the way his music. He died in the United States of America because he lived here. He didn't live in Mexico. You know the story, right?
I know he had a ranch in Mexico.
He had, but he left Mexico because they kidnapped his son and cut off his finger and sent it to them. And so then he was like, fuck this. I think the guys from La Banda del Carro Rojo, Los Tigres del Norte, I think they live here too.
They live in San
for
Jose.
similar reasons.
Yeah.
So how fucking amazing is this country that there are people that represent, like, their whole life fucking just all Mexico. And at the end of their career, they got to come over here because that country somehow, or people in that country, were giving them shit, fucking with them, to the point where they're like, no, we're going to go to America. That, to me, is what America's all about. And I've always gotten the struggle and the fight. I get it. I mean, it's, look. When I got married, I remember going, Dad, my kids are going to look a little whiter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than me, because Amy's so white. Like, what is that going to do for them?
Yeah.
Is it going to make them less Latino? Like, what is that going to... I got it. But the opposite is probably true for, a lot of white America. Because if your daughter or son ends up with somebody darker, that's how the kids are going to look. They might be halfway here and there, but they ain't going to look white anymore.
So you have a child with a perfect tan their entire life? You poor thing.
But that's funny. That's how many comedians have done that joke? Like, you don't like black people, but you want to get a spray tan and look. I mean, yeah, you don't like Latinos, but you don't mind looking like us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's all. To me, that's what it is, and I don't understand people that don't see that.
I think if you're in a position of leadership, politicians, churches, even coaching a little league team,
right?
Your job is to bring together, not to separate, not to segregate.
Right.
And that's what blows my mind, is that there's such a concentration on separation when you forget that we're all on the same fucking team. We've talked about this before. I've told you this, where like the only way our world is going to get together and be on the same side if another planet and aliens start attacking us.
Yeah.
Now we all know who humans are. Now we just give a shit that we're human. You're not one of them. But we need a collective thing to hate. Unfortunately for us.
When are we going to get to the place where we get past that? And I know that the internet sped this up, right? The hate. Where, today it's not about my team is good. It's all, they suck, you suck, he sucks, she sucks, they suck. Well, what about you? What about me? Well, tell me about you then. Like, is your team good? Oh, whatever, but your team sucks. Like, it's this whole negative vibe, and people are existing in it all the time. I don't see it, but I also don't see how why you want to fight this. You can't get rid of 20% of the population. You black people aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and young white girls that love ethnic guys like my wife. My wife is a perfect example. My wife was born in 1975. My wife grew up watching Puncharella. She was in love with Puncharella.
With a Puerto Rican.
Right? I was in love with one of Charlie's Angels, the blonde one, Cheryl Ladd. I ended up with a version of Cheryl Ladd. She ended up with a version of Puncharella. She could have had Mario Lopez.
I didn't get punch. I got punchy.
I got punchy.
Punchy.
I didn't get Puncharella. I got come mierda. I got chingadera. I do see hope, though. Well, not hope. I mean, I do see the opposite side, too. You know, this has been very heavy on the anti, but let's be real. The majority of the people that are protesting this anti-ICE thing, it isn't us. There's white people out there,
See
man.
in Minnesota, how white people are putting Mexican flags on their trucks, getting ice, luring ice,
Yeah.
and they're calling it ice fishing.
Right. I mean,
that's creative.
but you got to remember that, too.
But
you know what I'm
but
saying?
it proves a point that most people, most of us,
Yeah.
and I say Latinos, white people, black people, most of us don't give a shit about that. If a Puerto Rican person robbed me, do I hate all Puerto Ricans? No. If a Mexican person robbed me, does that mean I have to hate all of my own people? No. But some people will use that as a reason for hate.
Right.
And that's a thing, and it's taught. Racism is taught. Bigotry is taught, and it's taught at a young age. Just like being, like I say on stage once in a while, if you're a parent and you raise your child to be a fan of the Raiders, that to me is a form of child abuse.
I understand. Explain why.
Obviously, I'm kidding about that. But
Kinda.
But kinda not.
Because what you're really saying is you're indoctrinating these children.
But it's taught. You taught them.
To love a team that you think is never going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
But it proves a very loose version of the point. It is taught.
Correct.
You raise your children to be this way.
Correct.
Whether you raise them to be like my dad taught me that all women were beautiful. And I remember when we would go to the grocery store and there was a liquor store next door, and they always had these beautiful models holding whatever bottle of liquor.
Right.
And it would be a black woman, a white woman, a Latino woman, and my dad just said they're all beautiful.
Right.
And so that in turn was with me. So I see the beauty in everybody.
Right.
And women especially.
Yep.
So whether you're skinny, thick, or fat, I don't see any different. I don't see you any different. They're all fucking beautiful to me.
Right.
And just a personality carries a lot of weight.
Right.
And just talking to people and be willing to learn about people. But if you're so stuck in your house and watching Fox News for 20 hours a day, that leaves you no room to learn. And that makes you brainwashed, because if you're not willing to listen to somebody else's point of view, that means you are so stuck on your views that I don't want to hear about your life or your history or how you got here.
Right.
But I'd like to tell you how I got here.
Right.
I'm happy to tell you mine.
Right.
And I want to hear my words come out of your mouth. That's all I fucking want.
Here's my thing, though, and you're right. When it comes to this, like Super Bowl halftime show, first of all, you don't like it because it's all Spanish. That's fine, right? But don't say to me it's not American enough. That's not true. Puerto Ricans are Americans, born citizens.
It was just as American as that bullshit one with Kid Rock.
Just as American. Just as American.
And if you disagree with it, that proves how close-minded you are and how brainwashed you are.
Now, you don't like it because it's in Spanish. 100% understood that.
Okay.
That's real.
I didn't understand 90% of what Bad Bunny said.
Exactly.
But it was fun music.
Exactly. Now, you might not like it, but like I said, going back to, this was the first time where they needed the other side of it, where people literally said, it's not white enough. And that to me is like, no, that's not, I'm sorry, man, but white people, please take no offense from this. But I'm not going to give you the right to say that this country is yours and yours alone. Maybe you should have written the song different. This land is white land. This land is white land. This land is white land. And more white land. And whitey white land. No. This land is your land. This land is my land. Period. End of story. Should have written a different goddamn song with different lyrics if you wanted it. You should have done something. You know what? You should have not given my father a goddamn green card and the ability to come here and become a millionaire and bring me to this country if you didn't want us here. But now we are, all of us. And there's nothing that can be done about it. But I don't understand how that's not celebrated. Like we said, the picture, 3 Asian-looking women, one of them an American. That's fucking amazing.
And I got pissed off at the halftime show. But my pissoffity was for one specific reason. I did not know I could have applied to be a bushel of sugarcane and be in the Super Bowl halftime show.
You wanted to be a bushel?
I would have done that in a fucking second.
You would have been that guy. You would have been that guy just slowly rotating.
Yes. That would be on my resume for the rest of my fucking life.
That was fun. Speaking of halftime shows, bro, I mean, I went to the one in Miami, which is now the Hard Rock, the Hard Rock Stadium. Prince sang Purple Rain.
And it started raining.
And that was the first time it ever rained during a Super Bowl. And, bro, I was crying because I'm a huge fan, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Prince all the way, bro. I used to love going to his concerts where he never played his hits, where he was like, no, I'm going to give you new songs. And some people were disappointed. I loved it. And then one day, me and my wife and our friends are in Maui, and my buddy goes, bro, guess who's performing here tonight at the high school? I'm like, at high school? He's like, yeah, it's going to be outside. I was like, and I looked at his face and I went, Prince is here? And he goes, yeah, and I got us tickets, bro. We're going.
You went to a high school field?
He was about to go on tour. Remember when he first did that tour where he's like, this is the tour where I'm playing all my hits and that's it?
Yeah.
I went to that tour before it was a tour, when he was trying to
just putting it together
and see what music he puts with what songs and mixing matching songs. And dude, we're getting hammered on Mai Tais, bro, on a football field, and this little makeshift stage, and we're in those little white, it's like they called one of the hotels, and we're like, hey man, bring all the chairs that you guys normally use for the luau's and all that. Yeah. That's what we were in, bro. And then to go from there, and then to hear him at that show, it was amazing. But there were some that I didn't like. But interestingly enough, and this is a good thing juxtaposed with the bad thing. But not long ago, there was a full-on hip-hop one. Remember that? The celebration of hip-hop?
Well, last year was Kendrick Lamar. The year before, when it was in L.A., it was Dr. Dre.
Well, it was the celebration of hip-hop where they had all the pretty much artists. It was like the 50-year anniversary of hip-hop or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why all the artists came around. But looking back at that, it's actually really, really cool that as a country, that didn't get the shit that this did. It does say something about how we see black people in this country, of black Americans, that there wasn't a white version of the show for that hip-hop version of the show.
But even next year, if Garth Brooks did it next year, I'm going to enjoy that one as much as I did this year and last year's and the year before.
Yeah.
Because I see it for what it is. They're entertainers.
Yeah.
And they're here to entertain.
Yeah. So going on that, though, and there's a subject I want to talk about. Gene Simmons was going back at it with Chuck D. And the whole thing was, for you guys who don't know, Gene Simmons, lead singer of Kiss, long tongue, good friend, love him. He said that rappers and hip hoppers don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he goes, just like Pavarotti doesn't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, he mentioned like orchestra, like this, like that. Like there's certain things that are not rock and roll, and they shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This isn't the Music Hall of Fame. It's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, of course, Chuck D was a ten, so there was that mix of rock but it was not.
Now, was he negative, or was he trying to infer that there should be a hip hop Hall of Fame and a classical Hall of Fame, or what direction?
Well, he said, "I want to know when Metallica is introduced, inducted into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame." That was his.
That was his point of view.
His retort was, "Are they going to put us in theirs? No, because we're not hip hop." He's like, "I love, you know," and he said, "Look, I didn't grow up in the hood. I didn't grow up ghetto. That's not my music. That doesn't talk to me. Whatever, fine." But I'm kind of not really, you know what I mean? It's one of those where I'm like, fuck, interesting enough.
Like, it's an interesting point. However, it is right that it really is a Music Hall of Fame, not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's not the Music Hall of Fame.
No, I get that. I understand that. But the fact that hip-hop artists and classical artists and sure country and you name it have, are enshrined in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't know how diverse it is, actually. Or they should change it. But it is called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So let's just keep it at that. Do you think that, hip hop artists, should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or should there be a hip hop Hall of Fame? Or should there be a music Hall of Fame that just incorporates that? Or do you think that there is enough rock in it?
If I'm being honest, I don't give a shit. It's no athlete goes, my dream was to become a baseball player, not to go into the Hall of Fame. My dream was to play baseball professionally.
Right.
If I did that, I achieved my dream.
Right.
If I make it into the Hall of Fame, gravy. But that was never the goal.
Right.
So I guess that's where I don't care.
No, you know what? I see the point. The point is that regardless of how you feel about the music, like how does Run DMC being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame hurt?
Music. How does
Led Zeppelin?
Yes.
Led Zeppelin isn't.
Does not.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Led Zeppelin is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But either way, it doesn't diminish their career and what they.
It doesn't diminish anything, right?
At all.
This existence doesn't diminish this. It's just a different. It might be different music.
Because the only thing I can think of that's opposite, like if there's a Kennedy Center, why do I need to make it the Trump Kennedy Center when I could just make the Trump Center? That was my mindset. Like, why bust down something
Why
that
take
exists?
away from Kennedy?
Yes.
Why don't you just...
Because that diminishes Kennedy's name, in my opinion.
It does if you take it away, yeah.
Because you could create your own thing.
Right. Gotcha. So create your own thing.
Yeah.
Like he's adding the wing to the, he's adding that White House wing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that.
That's your thing. You
That's
got
on
the power to do it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. No, you know what? You make a good point. Because at the end of the day, it is about celebration and not the diminishing of.
Yes. And that's what it is. If you get your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame,
right.
it is a celebration of that individual or that band.
Right.
Of whatever they, if Lucille Ball could be right next to Metallica, since you brought that up. Right. Does that diminish what Lucille Ball created?
No. Or Metallica.
Or does that diminish what Metallica created?
Right. No, it doesn't.
It's just a celebration. It is a sidewalk of Mount Rushmore entertainers.
Yeah, you're right, because nobody's going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and see a whatever rock person, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, yeah. And then you go, what?
Yeah.
Run DMC? Well, fuck this band now. Like, that's not going to happen, right?
That really kills Metallica's street cred.
It really... Right. Yeah, no, you're right.
But either way, it's a celebration. The Hall of Fame is a celebration of who they choose. It's whoever the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they vote on it.
Right. Yeah.
So they have a collective decision-making process that Eminem should be in here just like Metallica should be here, or Aerosmith should be here, or Lady Gaga should be here, whoever the fuck Who cares?
And
it is ultimately a celebration of achievement.
Yeah, now you're right. And plus, then you're going to get into like, well, some people will be like, well, Eminem, because his style is very rocky. But then you're like, oh, so he's white now? And all of a sudden, so yeah, you're right. It goes into places that it doesn't need to go to.
And it goes to a negative place.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to a positive
Correct.
place.
Yeah, you're right.
Treat it for what it is, a celebration of what this individual or this group created.
Right. So, last subject. How do you feel about some of the athletes? And we kind of touched on this a minute earlier. How do you feel about some of the athletes, American athletes, who are basically saying, look, I love my country. I love representing my country. But I'm not down with all the stuff that's happening with this ICE stuff. And, I gotta make a point to say this. And a lot of them are getting criticized, which I disagree with, by the way, vehemently, when they say shit like, you should just go and do it. First of all, for you people that don't know this, even though they represent the United States of America, I don't know if you know this or not, our government, that's how much we give our athletes.
No, they don't make a penny. They're not paid anything.
No, I don't mean not paid, just not paid.
Right.
I mean, they don't do anything. They don't build facilities for them. They don't fly them there. They don't help them to get there. The United States government has zero money invested in the athletes that represent the United States, right?
Yeah, we're one of the bigger teams.
It's all private.
Yeah.
It's all private. So number one, these guys are representing this country because they want to. Like some of them out of pocket sometimes. Most of them once they get there, there's the U.S. Olympic Committee and all that kind of stuff. But they don't get anything from the government. Plus, is there anything more American than protesting? I mean, from the civil rights movement and before, from the dogs and the black and white footage and the white people holding hands and the Selma. I mean, all to this in the 70s. I mean, all the way till now. Athletics, especially on that main stage, especially on that world stage, Americans have kind of always used it to talk about inequities and imbalances in America. And I think that to take that away is to take away what makes us, one of the things that make us so American.
Yeah, because whether you like it or not, it is the privilege of living in this country that you are allowed to do that.
Yeah.
It is a privilege. And don't be mistaken, a lot of these athletes from around the world train in the States.
Oh, yeah.
Go to college in the States.
Oh, yeah. When you watch, especially the sprinters.
English. They speak perfect English, by the way. But I'm from Korea.
Yeah.
Or I'm from Japan. I'm from Germany. I'm from Switzerland.
Well, look at Luka Doncic is going to play on his team, whatever team that is, not American team, But that happens with a lot of athletes, you're right. Because if you, especially in the Summer Olympics, you'll be like, and, Mario Mbungwe, he goes to the University of Arkansas.
Yeah. Oh,
what? Wait, what?
Full ride scholarship at Stanford.
Right. Wait. Hey, that guy should be on our team, right? Like that is that. But how do you feel about the people that say they should just go up there, represent their country, not say anything negative, shut the fuck up? I vehemently disagree with that.
I disagree with that, but you have to also side with the person that says, I disagree with that. They should just take their award and go home. Well, I disagree with that person that said those words. I think they should get their award and go home.
Right.
Why is their opinion more important than that athlete that just won a gold medal?
Yeah.
You're in a little studio, and your paycheck says Fox on it.
Right.
Or MSNBC or whatever side you
whatever
choose,
it is.
whatever choose. But you're going to throw that, and you're going to tell this person that they can't do that, but you're allowed to say that they can't do that?
Correct.
Why are your rights a little bit more than this person?
Why are you allowed?
And
they're not.
And they have a global stage, and they just achieved the impossible.
And they're representing a country that
allows you to do that whether you agree with it or not.
And didn't financially help them get to the
You
place
didn't
where
help
they got
me get
it.
here.
You know who did? I did. I give money to the USOC, United States Olympic Committee, every year. Every time I get the little thing with the stickers on it, right? So like back in the day, you get a letter from me, you would see that little sticker with the USOC, and if you knew anything, you'd be like, he got those and he donated money and they sent them the stickers. Because first of all, I have the ability to turn it off, but when I allow myself, I'm a fucking unbelievably competitive human being. I love competition. And I want to be the best comedian that has ever lived or the best comedian on a given day. I'll never know that, right? Now, ever since I started performing, was there one night, where in all of the United States of America, I had the best laughs of any comedian in all that night? I would venture to say that's possible, but I don't know that. Dude, to be able to stand on a podium with a gold medal and to know that on that day, at that very moment, you were the best.
Everything was perfect.
At that thing, the best on the planet. Jesus, bro. Could you imagine that feeling?
Yeah. And then when they do that interview that they're not supposed to do,
right?
I see it like this. They're in a position to say, we're not like them. That administration, whether that's our administration, we can't deny that. But we're not like them.
Right. He is my president. That is my country, but I don't agree with what's happening.
We are different.
Right. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think that it's good for people around the world to see that about us.
To see that we're not like him.
Yeah. Because, and I'll end it with this. I was performing for the troops not too long ago in the Middle East. We were in Qatar, UAE. You've been in some of these places. Anyway, I did a show where 4 of the comedians were from Saudi Arabia. And each one of them told me a story about how each one of them served time in jail. A couple days, week, that kind of stuff. But they went to jail for a joke that they told.
For being a stand-up.
For being a stand-up.
For telling a joke.
For telling a joke. For telling a joke. And when I got off stage, they were just like, do you know how lucky you are? They're like, do you know how lucky you are? That you get to say that? You get to do that? And you know when he's going to put you in jail? Man, we love America. We love America. And I was just like, that's the rights that we have. That's who we are. And the fact that other people envy that about us, because there are a lot of people, when they hear these people, Americans, saying, I'm not down with what my country did, they're like in Cuba going, wait, what? Wait a minute. He said he didn't like the president? What? How do you? Oh my God. You know what I mean? The countries all over the world where they're just viewing that going, how badass is America that you can do that? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had a lot of subject that we were going to get to, but as normal, we just go off on rants. So until next week, until next time, until the next thing, on behalf of my buddy over here, Mr. Gabe Lopez, Carlos Mencia. Yeah. What are your handles? We never talk about this.
We never talk about it.
What are your handles?
Everything's at Gabe Lopez Comedy. It is so simple.
At Gabe Lopez and ain't dirty at 12:30.
Dirty Trollers at Dirty at 12:30.
At Dirty at 12:30.
Yeah, AT. Actually, spell out the AT.
AT.
Dirty AT 1230.
Okay. There you go. And I'm Carlos Mencia everywhere else. Until next time, man. Hope you're living your best life. And to all of those of you that are fighting the non-whiteization, the non-Anglo-Saxon of European descent America, and you think it's going away. It's not. And
it's all amazing. It's all so great. It's all so wonderful.
It's just going to be a part added to it. It's Shabuzi and guys like that.
Patrick Mahomes.
There you go. So live that life, man. And don't freak out when your daughter or son comes home with somebody that looks very different than grandma.
Just God's funny that way.
Peace.